Paradox, when logic turns against itself. A paradox is an idea that appears to contradict itself while still pointing toward a deeper truth. At first encounter, paradoxes feel like intellectual traps, statements that cannot possibly be true yet refuse to be dismissed. From ancient philosophy to modern physics, paradox has remained one of the most powerful tools for questioning how we think, reason, and understand reality. Some of the earliest paradoxes were formulated in ancient Greece. Zeno's paradoxes, for example, challenged the nature of motion itself. If a runner must always cover half the remaining distance before reaching the finish line, how can movement ever be completed? Although we know motion exists, the paradox exposes the limitations of human logic when applied to infinite division. Centuries later, mathematics and calculus would offer solutions, but the philosophical tension remains. Paradoxes are not confined to abstract thought. They appear in language, society, and everyday life. Consider the statement, "This sentence is false." If it is true, then it must be false, and if it is false, then it becomes true. Known as the liar paradox, this simple sentence destabilizes the idea that every statement must be either true or false, influencing modern logic and computer science. In science, paradox often signals a turning point. The famous twin paradox in Einstein's theory of relativity describes one twin traveling through space at near-light speed while the other remains on Earth. Upon reunion, the traveling twin is younger. What seems impossible under common sense becomes logical within a new framework of time and space. Here, paradox does not indicate failure, but discovery. Modern physics is filled with such contradictions. Light behaves as both a particle and a wave. Observation changes the outcome of experiments at the quantum level. These paradoxes do not suggest that reality is broken, but that human intuition evolved for a world very different from the one described by subatomic physics. Paradox also plays a crucial role in culture and psychology. Humans crave certainty, yet live in a world defined by ambiguity. We value freedom but seek security. We desire progress but fear change. These contradictions shape political debates, moral dilemmas, and personal identity. The ability to tolerate paradox often distinguishes rigid thinking from mature understanding. In literature and art, paradox becomes a creative force. Poets use it to express emotional truths that logic alone cannot capture. Writers embrace contradiction to reflect the complexity of human experience. A character can be both strong and fragile, hopeful and despairing, rational and irrational, without inconsistency. Perhaps the most profound paradox is this: the more knowledge humanity gains, the more aware it becomes of its own ignorance. Scientific advancement answers old questions while revealing new uncertainties. In this sense, paradox is not an obstacle to understanding, but its engine. In a world increasingly driven by quick answers and simplified narratives, paradox invites us to slow down. It asks us to sit with uncertainty, to question assumptions, and to accept that reality may be richer and stranger than logic alone can explain. When logic turns against itself, understanding often begins.